Hello friends, I have recruited my wonderful friend Richo to help us get a little bit of soul-warming love for winter, because I think as parents we are burnt out. I know the healthcare profession, we are absolutely spent. The doctors, the nurses, the admin, the cleaners, everyone who's working in healthcare. It's been a really tough winter. When I had COVID, this beautiful man, and he actually does have a very beautiful soul in there, dropped me off.
You sure? Is this, you sure it's in there?
I promise you all that there's a beautiful soul, and he dropped me off some amazing food, which I feel honestly Richo healed me.
You're not going to start crying
I
again,
know,
are you?
again, I love it. But I did call Richo a little bit teary and grateful, and I said to Richo, can we share this with the people? Can we pep people up, stock their freezers, and put a little bit of love into winter?
Because you were asking me about the recipes and how did you make this and how did you make that, and I said, why don't I show you? And that's when you said, why don't we show everyone? And I think that's what we'll do now.
Yes, let's share it.
All
Let's
right,
share the love.
We will, and probably the first thing that was the soup. If you need to get better and you need to feel well, nothing is more nourishing and more uplifting than a really good soup.
Yeah.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what I've got is some vegetables here. Normally I make a stracciatella, which is, basically a chicken soup, a chicken broth, and I put some egg and stuff in it. But we want to add a few more ingredients to that to maybe give it a bit more lift. So if you're watching or you look at the recipe, you can add all of these ingredients, some of these ingredients, but it just starts with a little bit of onion and garlic.
Use whatever's in your veggie pack, friends.
Exactly. Or it's also great to make a soup with all the stuff that's left over in the fridge. You know, the vegetable drawer?
The soggy ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The limp carrots and celery.
Yeah.
Chop them all up into little pieces. Do you like how I've diced this nice and fine?
I do. I like it a lot. I have missed your chopping skills, I'll be honest.
There we go.
At home, can I be honest, if I create it, it wouldn't look like this, but it would still be delicious.
Well, I do it really quickly, and this is quite small, but a little thing, bacon's pretty easy to chop up, but if you've got things like zucchini, carrot and celery that I've got here, I've done a nice little dice of it. But if you've got like a Robo thing or blender or KitchenAid or whatever you've got at home, something that chops vegetables, that's what you need to do. Just quick pulse.
Because it's not going to look like that if I do it Richo. But you know my ethos, and Richo does know that, and these people have seen my filming at home.
Yep.
I just chippy choppy because I'm like, it'll taste the same anyway. But actually, when Richo delivered his soup, I actually really appreciated the way the potato was chopped in there. You put potato in a soup, and I was like, I actually understand now what you mean about the size and the beautifulness of it.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time, so for me,
it is your job.
It is my job, and I should be able to chop things nice and square or dice or julienne, and I think it makes it look nice because for me, I have to sell the food. I have to be able to present it to someone and sell it, so I need to make it look really good. Ooh. So diced onion in there, bacon in there. I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil. You can use whatever oil you like. You can use butter in here. You can use ghee. You can even
oil is good.
Exactly.
Oil is good. Yep. I would probably leave the bacon out as well, because if you didn't want the meat, if you didn't.
Hang on, we're going to stop right here. Leave the bacon out. You can't leave the bacon out. Yes, you can. You can leave the bacon out. But,
you can.
But there's always a scruffy little piece of bacon in my kitchen. So
it looks a bit like Richo.
Like a piece of bacon that's fallen down the back of the shelf that not everyone's forgotten. So that's a really nice piece to put in there. So bacon and onion, but you can smell.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Yeah, nice.
Now down this pathway, we've got garlic that you can buy that's crushed.
Yep.
You can use that, or you can use whole garlic cloves. I grab them like this, and I just peel them straight off. Now at this time of year, garlic's a little bit harder to get hold of.
Yeah.
Because it's all starting to sprout. So you might find it is a bit expensive or harder to get hold of. But when you do get a garlic cloves like this, I just grab it like that.
Yep.
And just with the palm of your hand, just give it a bash like that.
Yep.
And then you can peel that with your fingers.
Oh, nice. Love it.
You thought you were
These are Whoppers, by the way. These are Whoppers.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but there we go. It's
these are massive garlic cloves.
This is jumbo.
Holy mama.
And if you can grab some of these and plant them in the garden, you'll be able to grow these at home.
Well, I could. I might, Richo. I love this. You could almost rub it on your body. This to me is like a good smell. I like garlic. It's good. Don't you think?
It is. It's one of my favourite things, especially.
Bill's used to it, by the way. He's like, oh, baby, we've been eating garlic.
Garlic all over. I love it. It's one of my favourite things in the entire world. I think it gives everything a really good flavour.
Yeah.
And they say by adding garlic to the soup, it also really good for, what's that word?
Nutrition. Flavour. But people think a lot of stuff like, eating a lot of garlic every single day will stop you from getting sick. Just the doctor, has to say there's no evidence that it's bloody delicious.
Yeah.
Counts in your veggies.
Exactly. Well, it is a vegetable, so there must be something in there.
Good.
Must be something in there to scare away the cold or the flu viruses or those nasty things.
Do you know they're viruses?
Exactly. Well, I don't know what they are. Well, it's
It's true.
It's a lot better than getting a needle, I can tell you that, because I hate needles. They scare the hell out of me.
He has had them. He's
Yep.
had all these needles.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All of my shots, distemper, rabies, I've had all of those things. Now, I've also got some crushed garlic as well. And if you are adding crushed garlic, I sort of add it towards the end because this will cook really, really quickly and caramelise. The chopped garlic that we put here, that will cook a little bit slower. So I'm going to put this in now, about the end here. Now we can start adding some veggies here. I've got some zucchini here that I've cut, and I leave the green on.
Yeah.
Because I like the colour of it.
For you.
And apparently it's good for you as well.
Yeah.
They say that.
Yep.
I've also got some carrot here that I've diced up. And I've been listening to you, so I didn't peel the carrot.
Good.
So it's all the skin in there as well. But I did wash it.
Cool.
There's no dirt on it.
These are all Preeya. Yeah, good. So I am rubbing off it. You have learned something the other way.
Yeah, I learnt something
Maybe.
once. I might have learnt one or two things. And in goes some celery. Now, for me, when I'm cooking this soup, I find by sweating all this off together, you start to get the flavour.
Yeah.
You can smell that, can't you? It's starting to come out. And at this stage here, I've got some of this lovely thyme that you picked for me.
And my kitties.
I'm going to get you to pick some of that. That is so fresh. That's probably the best thyme I've had in my entire life.
That's from my garden.
Exactly, from your garden. In that goes. Twist it. I mean, you can take the stems, because these stems are nice and soft and supple.
Grown with love.
I'm just going to throw them straight in there like that.
Grown with love, don't you think, Richard?
Grown with love. That's the most important thing. And of course, some salt. We need some salt in there.
Fine.
In goes the salt, and of course some pepper as well.
Beautiful.
We do the salt and pepper.
Yep, love it.
Is that it? I like that song, didn't we? Here we go. In that goes as well.
Good song.
It is.
So, can I ask this?
Yes.
Just say that you're a retired parent like me, or you're a doctor or a nurse, or whoever you are going to work, and you know you're about to be hit with another bug, and you're going to be absolutely spent. Could you do all of this and freeze it and have it ready to go?
Yes. For me, if you're going to go to the trouble of chopping all these vegetables and make, this is probably enough for maybe 6 people. If you're going to go to that trouble, you might as well throw an extra couple of carrots in there, extra couple of zucchini, fill the pot up. Fill the pot up, get it simmering away, buy a few takeaway containers from the supermarket, or maybe you wash some that you've had from your curry.
Save the planet.
Exactly, save the planet. Or even some deco, whatever it is. And then you can freeze it. Freeze it in there, it lasts forever. And then when you want it, you can give it a little nuke in the French oven, you know, the one that goes in. And out it comes.
Microwave, Nigella says.
Exactly, the microwave. And that's it. Now, all I need to do with this, Preeya, is stir that around. Now, if you can pass me some of that wine there. I've got what I call cooking wine. It's very important that you do have cooking wine, because I like to cook with wine. There we go. A little bit of wine in there.
And while going in there or in there?
Well,
it's filling up. You did not pour that in there and contaminate it. Okay.
Just a little bit in there. I'm not going to waste it. A little splash in there's fine. If you like putting wine in there, you can see I didn't put that much in there. A little bit of wine in there, that's coming up to the boil straight away. Now at this stage here, Preeya, I've got some stock over here. Now, I'm a chef. I've got a gaggle of chefs working with me. I always make stocks and sauces. I don't buy them. I make them at home, or I make them here in the kitchen, and I love them.
The stock is good. You gave me just some broth.
Exactly.
And it was amazing. I just put the garden veggies in there and some mushrooms, and that was it. And it honestly healed me. But so this is what, chicken broth? This is chicken broth.
So what I do is I get chicken bones and a few chicken legs and some chicken wings, put them into a pot, cover it with cold water, bring it up to the boil, let it simmer very gently for about 2 hours or so, and I put some carrot, celery, onion, leek and garlic in there, let it boil away. I skim off the foam that comes to the top, and it's ready to go. After about 2 hours, I strain it, and then it's good to go.
And you can freeze it?
Freeze it for as long as you want.
And if you don't have time to do that and you're thinking making broth, that sounds freaking exhausting, and like, what do you need? My kid's about to come home with conjunctivitis tomorrow, Richo. When am I making this broth?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of cheats you can do. You can, if I didn't have any chicken stock or anything in the fridge, I could pour some water in here, a little splash of wine. Miso is a great flavour additive. Some people use the booster little chicken cubes, they work the same thing. Whatever you want to use, but miso, if you put a couple of tablespoons in there, whisk it in, you get a really strong sort of umami flavour. It's a great cheat for using stock.
Just water and miso.
Water and miso, whisk it up. Another good cheat is actually Vegemite. A little bit of Vegemite in there. Ooh. That will give you a little bit of colour as well. Exactly, that's coming up to the boil beautifully. I'm just going to pour all that in there. Now, what I want to do, Preeya, is let this simmer away for about 6 or 7 minutes, so the vegetables start to soften up because they are quite small. And while that's simmering away, I'll just enjoy.
You'll have this glass of wine.
Exactly. What a wonderful thing to do. We're back, aren't we?
We are back. It's like the
Yeah,
show. I love it.
We should have put a commercial in there, but we didn't.
We should have.
What's happened is this has been simmering away for about 5 or 6 minutes, and during that time we've had a good old natter.
We have.
And,
We have.
So
Richo's life advice.
I've had
Go
a
on.
taste of it, and the vegetables are nice and soft. And if you like them a little bit crunchy, leave them crunchy. If you like them soft and mushy, soft and mushy.
Yep.
If you wanted to put a little blender in here and make it a pureed soup, up to you. It doesn't really matter. It's your soup.
I like
As long
that.
as you've got flavour in there, which is the most important thing.
And some veggies,
And
because that's what's going to support your immune system to get better. Thank you.
Exactly.
Just need to get the goodness out.
Yeah, I have some packets of fresh pasta here, and this is some fresh pasta that we make here, and I'm just going to bust it up and put it in here. I make this fresh pasta and then I freeze it, and that way whenever I want fresh pasta I can take it out. It's a little tip that we have.
And that's a nice portion size, so it's like that's perfect if you're having dinner at home and you just wanted to defrost it. That scares me, making pasta. I've never done it and probably never will. So what's the dealio if you didn't have fresh pasta?
Look, you can put vermicelli in there, which is the crunchy one. You can put noodles in here, you can put rice in here, you can put potato in here, you could do star pasta, you can do just about anything
Alphabet
in there.
pasta, can I tell you what I do with my kids to bulk this up? So my kids, I've got a toddler, don't forget, I will get that and then I will basically rip off bits of bread and chuck it in there to fill him up.
Same thing.
No.
Yeah. Exactly, whatever you want to do. You know, whatever you want to put in here is easy. Now, because it's fresh pasta, I know that it's going to cook all the way through by the time it comes back to the boil, about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
But if you're grabbing a packet of dry pasta, have a look at the pasta. It'll have a little thing there that tells you how long the pasta takes to cook. If it
The
takes
instructions.
Exactly. I always do that. Never throw the packet away and put it in your plastic containers. You must know how long the pasta cooks. Always. And then you pop it in here, and then I know it's going to take the same amount of time. So if it's a little star pasta, it takes about 8 minutes. So I know it's going to be cooked in 8 minutes. It's going to be cooked in 8 minutes.
So can I just tell people where we are? We're at La Luna. We're at Richo's restaurant, which is bloody delicious, by the way. I come here often and I love it. But it's so cool being in a restaurant when people aren't actually here. I love behind the scenes, but there's all this stuff happening around us, isn't there?
Oh, there's deliveries coming in the back door. There's a guy that's trying to clean the window here and doesn't even know. He's wondering what we're doing. He's bashing on the window and carrying on.
Richo's going away. Stop.
What's going on? Well,
this is not good shit action, people.
well, you think it's action-packed because you're dealing with sick people all the time. I'm dealing with crazy people, crazy people all around me. So you've got 4 eggs there and some Parmesan cheese.
Yes.
And you've mixed up the egg with a fork. That's a perfect way to do it. Now, spring onions. People usually chuck away the green part, or what I use the whole thing.
Yep.
Now for this dish, I'm just going to use the green part at the top, and I'll use these white parts for something else.
Yep.
But don't ever throw them away. I just give them a wash because sometimes there's a bit of dirt on your herbs, so make sure you wash it really, really well and chop it like this. If you want to, you can throw it in a blender and mix it around. But fresh herbs make it delicious.
Are you happy with this?
Anything
else need to go in here, Chef?
Look, why don't you grab some of that lemon there and zest a little bit of lemon.
I can do that.
Exactly, lemons.
I've missed Richo's instruction in the kitchen. I really have.
Well,
I'm very excited to film again.
Oh,
Chef.
it is. This is almost like a rehearsal for when we put it all together.
A reunion.
All right, now I reckon that pasta's boiling away beautifully. I throw the herbs in right at the end. That way, you get that fresh flavour of the herbs.
Yeah.
And it stays nice and green as well. So it's looking lovely, and it's just about to come up to the boil. And as soon as it comes up to the boil, this is the stracciatella part. This is what my nonna would cook for me if I wasn't feeling well. She would put this straight into here. In it goes, all that egg, all that goodness, all that Parmesan cheese, the egg yolk. And if you let it stir it around just a little bit, that egg will just start to cook. And it's the Chinese do like an egg drop soup, which is the same sort of thing. But you can see the Parmesan cheese and the egg starting to set at the top there. I turn that off. That is hot enough. It's ready to go.
That's it.
Preeya, we're ready to taste this.
Can you freeze it like this? Can you freeze it with the egg in there? The cheese in there?
I would let it cool down a little bit before you do freeze it, but it'll go in the freezer in your little containers. But you can freeze it.
Okay.
But I reckon if you've got any left over, because we won't have any left over because this is so delicious, you can freeze it. And as we said before, the best idea is to make it a lot of it so it's nice and delicious. Look at it.
I would make this, Richo, I would freeze it for the next time the throat is sore. As long as it's not COVID, please do a test. Do everything as you would, and then this is the kind of healing stuff you need in the freezer.
Exactly, and you can see it's a nice thick soup. There's lots of ingredients in there.
Yes.
It's going to be nourishing. It's going to fill you up.
Yeah.
It's also going to make you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. Do you like that? Does that taste good?
I don't want the happy tears to come out. It's so good.
It's bloody good, isn't it?
The broth is so flavourful, so much goodness in there. I would chuck whatever I had in my garden.
Silver beet.
Yeah, I would. I would chuck crap loads of silver beet in there. The thing I've learnt from you is about herbs. Fresh herbs in everything makes everything better. So that I've taken that away from you, but not taken it. I've enjoyed that tip. But this is, people make a big batch.
Yeah, the recipe is down there, up there, swipe or whatever.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Or you can just watch it again and
Yeah.
write down all the notes.
Write it down as you go.
Is that all right?